So a few things that you need to know if you plan on buying a Ram 1500, if you plan on buying brand new, you plan on buying used, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys a few things to make sure your truck definitely have before you end up buying it. Not just strictly for you plan on modifying your truck, but just also, even if you plan on using your truck as a work truck, I would definitely make sure that before I buy my truck or your truck, whatever that's now, you want to make sure it have these exact upgrade. It's definitely something that's important for your truck. I'm going to be sharing with you guys that right now in this video. What's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another video. Beautiful day here today in PA. I'm going to be sharing with you guys today one thing that I personally did not know when I got this truck. I wouldn't say I didn't know, but I really didn't pay attention to when I was planning on buying this truck. And now it's something that's going to cost me later on down the line, but it's definitely something that you could avoid. That's why it's important to make sure that if you're gonna get a used truck or a new truck, you gotta have this upgrade. It's definitely something that's very important. But before I get into talking about that, I wanna say, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. If you're here for your first time on the channel, I need you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, support the channel. Definitely means a lot. Help your boy. My goal is to hit 10K, so you gotta support if you're a Mopar guy or a car guy, or whatever guy you are. Just hit that subscribe button, support the channel. So I never knew how important this was until I really started like thinking about modifying this truck. Like, I didn't know it was something that's gonna affect it, but somehow with what I'm planning on doing with this truck, it definitely gonna play a huge role. And it's something that I have to do because with the modification I'm planning on doing to this truck, it's just not gonna be able to maintain that. And it's something that's very huge for me and very important for you to notice. So what I'm gonna share with you guys that I would say is that you gotta make sure if you buying this truck, make sure it has an 8-speed transmission. Now, you might be thinking like, okay, but if you got a 5.7 Hemi, V8 in general, they all gonna come with the 8-speed. Yes, you're right about that, but some people tend to go with a different option. I guess whoever was, if you buying brand new or if you buying used, that's something you definitely want to keep an eye on, because whoever was a previous owner, sometimes, you know, you don't want to think that just because you see a 5.7 Hemi inside of it, it pretty much mean the truck has the 8-speed transmission, because that's the same thing I thought before. Not until I actually ran my VIN number and really seen that it has the 6.5, I think 6.5 RFE or something like that transmission, and that's the 6-speed trans. Kind of sucked because you guys know for a fact, keep it real with you guys, 6-speed trans are not the best transmission for these trucks, but don't get me wrong, they could, you know, they could hold up they could live for a certain amount of time. But when it comes to modification, if you're gonna be doing real heavy mods like throwing camshaft, let's say probably like doing like an upgraded torque converter, doing like a swap, whatever heavy mod you plan on doing, just know these transmissions can only hold up a certain amount of power until they give up on you. So if you got the 8-speed, now it's a different ball game, to where obviously you can get it rebuilt. It could hold pretty much a great amount of power until you get it, you know, rebuilt for whatever power you plan on making out of your truck. For what I know, the 6-speed trans in these trucks are very, very fragile, and definitely something I gotta be mindful of, because I can't really do like a, let's say if I want to do like a I want to upgrade from the 5.7 Hemi, doing like a bigger block. I'm not going to be able to use the same trans because it's a 6-speed transmission. It's just not going to be able to hold up that much power, so I'm going to have to get an 8-speed trans. This is something that is very, very important, even if you're not modifying your truck, whatever. If you plan on, let's say, even using it as a work truck, that still does matter. Me, I came from, like, my last 2 trucks I owned, it was a 3rd generation Ram, so they had the 8-speed transmission in there. For some reason, I never, something that, it's not like something that is, if you buying your truck used, there's a chance that it might have a 6-speed and it might have an 8-speed, even if you got the 5.7 Hemi inside of it. Most of the time you would think like, okay, it has a 5.7 8-speed, 5.7 Hemi, guaranteed that's gonna have the 8-speed. But in that case with this truck, that's the same thing. I went over all the spec in this truck. Whoever was the first owner, he spec'd this truck out to have a lot of similar stuff as the Ram Sports. Pretty much it has a lot of, it has some upgrades and stuff like that. But I never understand why they put the 6-speed transmission in this truck. Don't know why. Whoever was the previous owner probably know the reason why they end up doing it. Because most of the time, if it has a Hemi, you gotta have the 8-speed. So if you buy used, there's something you gotta really pay attention to. If you plan on modifying your truck, even if you plan on using it as a work truck, just so you don't have to go through that problem of your trans giving up on you or something like that. But so far, this truck been doing good for me. And I would definitely say if you're buying new, it's something that you really don't have to pay attention to because it's gonna have the 8-speed. Obviously, unless you go with the option like the previous owner of this truck ended up doing. And I was kind of like confused, like to really find that out. But I just feel like it's something that you definitely gotta make sure your truck has. And another thing is, me personally, Ram 1500, I would say, just to straight up don't go with the V6 models and stuff, because I heard different things about them, but I haven't never owned a V6 model, so I can't really sit here and be able to vouch for it. But I would definitely say if you're gonna get a Ram 1500, make sure it has a Hemi, make sure it has an 8-speed transmission. These are things that's definitely important. Like it definitely is, because it comes down to, even if you're gonna use it as a work truck, you definitely want to have an 8-speed and you want to have the V8 engine. If you plan on getting if you plan on getting a truck because you want to save gas, your reason is to get a V6, then there's no point in you getting a truck in general. You might as well just stick to a car. But these are the 2 things that I'm sharing with you guys that's definitely important. I'm just not finding out this information about my truck not too long ago, so I want to make sure if you're buying brand new or used, definitely stay on top of your game. Make sure you're having this, especially if you're a modified type of guy. Definitely important. That's gonna be really it for this video, guys. I'll say enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.